Maple Hollow, small town, big Halloween spirit. Every year, Maple Hollow had a scarecrow contest. People made them scary, silly, strange, but the scariest, the Scarecrow King. Nobody knew who made him. He just appeared every year, right in the town square, watching, waiting. Billy loved a good dare. He was always the first to jump into any challenge, no matter how risky. Jenna, she loved a good mystery. She had a knack for solving puzzles and uncovering secrets. And Kyle? He just liked tagging along, enjoying the thrill of the adventure without the pressure of leading. Together they were the notorious trio, always getting into trouble, always pushing the limits. Halloween was their time to shine. They planned for weeks, mapping out their route, gathering supplies, and daring each other to go further than ever before. This year, the dare was big, bigger than candy, bigger than bragging rights. It was about facing their fears and proving their courage. The Scarecrow Factory, an abandoned building on the edge of town, was said to be haunted. No one had dared to enter it for years. But Billy, Jenna, and Kyle were determined to be the first. They knew it would be their greatest adventure yet. The Scarecrow Factory was on the edge of town, old, abandoned, windows like empty eyes. It had been there for as long as anyone could remember, a relic of a bygone era. The townsfolk avoided it, especially at night when the fog rolled in and the building seemed to come alive with shadows. People said it was haunted. They whispered tales of strange noises, ghostly apparitions, and eerie lights that flickered in the broken windows. No one dared to go near it after sunset, fearing what they might encounter in the darkness by the scarecrows that were left behind. These scarecrows, once meant to guard the fields, now stood as silent sentinels, their tattered clothes fluttering in the wind. Some said they moved on their own, shifting positions when no one was looking. They whispered about a night watchman, a man who once guarded the factory, now a ghostly figure who roamed the grounds. His presence was felt more than seen, a cold chill that ran down your spine, driven mad by the staring eyes. The eyes of the scarecrows, always watching, always judging. It was said that the watchman could never escape their gaze, and it drove him to madness. Billy, Jenna, and Kyle stood at the edge of the woods, staring at the factory. They had heard the stories, but curiosity got the better of them. They wanted to see if the legends were true, daring each other to go closer. Each step they took was filled with both excitement and fear. The factory loomed larger with every step, its dark silhouette a stark contrast against the moonlit sky. They wondered what they would find inside and if they would ever be the same after. "I bet you won't go inside," Billy said. Jenna crossed her arms. "I'm not scared." Kyle shivered. "Maybe we should just go home." But Billy had already started walking toward the factory, toward the darkness. Jenna and Kyle followed. They had to. The door creaked open like a scream. The inside was dark and dusty. Cobwebs hung everywhere, clinging to the corners and draping over forgotten furniture. The air was thick with the scent of decay and neglect, and then they saw them. Scarecrows, hundreds of them, lining the walls, staring at them with button eyes that seemed almost alive. Each one was unique, yet they all shared the same unsettling gaze. A hand shot out from the shadows, grabbed Jenna's arm. She screamed, her voice echoing through the empty room. It was Kyle. "Don't do that!" she snapped, her heart pounding in her chest. But then, all the scarecrows turned their heads towards them and smiled, their stitched mouths curling up in a grotesque grin. The room seemed to close in around them, the walls pressing closer. Jenna and Kyle backed away slowly, their eyes darting around for an escape. The scarecrows began to move, their straw-filled limbs creaking and rustling. To be continued.